Hi everybody, how are you all doing? It's Sita here of the Shawl Knit Unplugged, and nice to be back. I haven't been making my regular podcast for a while now. I'm not exactly sure why. My rhythm seems to have been a bit broken, but nevertheless, every now and again I pop up. And here I am. It's the Shawl Knit Unplugged. My name is Sita. I am a nomadic knitter. I don't have one place where I live. I kind of hop from one continent to the other. I am South African, and right now I am in South Africa, but I do spend most of my time in India. And sort of about half the amount of the year I spend in India, and the other half I spend in South Africa. You just move slightly a little bit closer. There we go. Oops, I'm getting all tangled up. But the winters, which is now, it's winter in South Africa, this is where you'll find me. And I am house sitting a really lovely house. You might have seen from the introduction, lovely fireplace. I'm sitting here in the lounge today with the fire. It's a little bit cold, been raining, and it's typical winter weather. And I love having the fire while I knit, and it just lends a beautiful atmosphere to my knitting. Anyway, I've been very busy actually. As you can see, I'm wearing a knitted item. I'll tell you about that just now. I might have actually spoken about it before. But my mission at the moment, now that I'm back here and I've managed to get my hands on my full wool stash, yarn stash, which is not as big as most people's, but actually I don't like to have lots of stuff because, it's not like I can spread it out. It has to be packed away when I leave. I take a lot of yarn with me to India because I'm always knitting, and I am in India in winter. I will be going in October back to India. I take small, curated, very lovely tours with small groups in India. So I have a tour in October that is 4 people. I take up to 8 people, and we do some wonderful things. We do visit a lot of craft people, weavers, knitters. We go to some incredible sites, amazing architectural buildings, and in Rajasthan, in the desert. If you've ever been to Rajasthan, you'll know it's just exotic and colorful and magical place, full of ancientness, and we live in beautiful old havelis and wander the narrow streets. One of my favorite cities is Jodhpur, which is known as the Blue City, and then there's Jaipur, which is the capital of Rajasthan, and that's known as the Pink City. So we take in both of those, and we also go, very exciting part of our tour is to take an overnight train and go up to the Himalayas, go up to the mountains where we stay in a lovely lodge, and there we do a lot of walking, hiking, gentle walking. I'm not into trekking actually. I'm not a goal-orientated hiker. I love to take in the environment, and up there in northern Uttarakhand, which is where we go, you will constantly have a view, a 360-degree view of the majestic Himalayas that are so huge that you could even miss seeing them. What I mean by that is the first time I went up there, which was about 7 years ago, I went up to this viewpoint to look at the mountains, and there were lots of clouds and I couldn't really see much. And So I turned around to go back, and there was somebody else also having a look at the view, and they said, "Did you see the peak?" And I said, "No, it's too many clouds." They said, "Look up." And that was the amazing thing. You know, you think you look there, but no, you've got to look up. And above those clouds were these majestic peaks sticking out. Anyway, in the winter months, there are not so many clouds. It's very clear. You don't have to look up. You just have to look straight. And wow, it is an incredible sight. So we go there and we do some lovely things there. And yeah, that takes 2 weeks. And then I will probably have another tour in November. And then I am planning to do a creative internship for a couple of months in Rajasthan over December and January. And for that, I am going to be taking not only my knitting with me, but my newfound passion, which is weaving. So I'll take my small rigid heddle loom, which folds up and can be carried in a plane and very easy to take with. It'll be the first time I'm taking it. I've just started with the weaving, but I really enjoy it. And I started this video with a view of some of my scarves and shawls hanging over the banister here in the lounge. Very nice place to display them. And I'm loving them. So I'm making some out of pure cottons, and some out of pure wool, and others out of pure eri silk, which is yarn that I bring back from India. So at the moment, I'm giving the weaving a slight break, as I have a few commissions for knitting. And, you know, being winter, it's just the perfect weather for knitting, watching podcasts, listening to books, sitting with a fire, and just getting into the craft, which I absolutely love. And also in this little village where I live, there's a wonderful crafting group. We get together once a week, and it's just such fun to share our stuff and to share techniques. And in the past month, I've given 2 yarn dyeing workshops, which were great fun. People really enjoyed those. And yeah, now I'm just getting on with a shawl that I'm making. Can you see? I think you can. This is the very beginnings. You know, I just had this great desire to make a Stephen West shawl. I'll show you once I get to the end of the row. I haven't knitted a West knit shawl for some time, and they are definitely my most favorite accessories to knit. The big semicircular ones particularly, although I have knitted many of the other shapes many times. And this is the Winter Lights. I have actually made this once before. I did look up in my library, and this is from 2020. This design, and so this is the second time I'm making it. But there are some, like the Slipstravaganza, for example, which is my absolutely most favorite. I've knitted 5 of those, and that is mainly because I wear the shawl and then somebody wants it, so I sell it, and then I make another one and I wear it and I sell it. So the final one I made, which I think is the final one, I'm not sure at this stage, I've managed to hang on to for over a year now. Excuse me. And it's in my colors. It's in browns, rusts, orange, with a bit of natural thrown in, and pretty similar, in fact, to the colors of this absolutely gorgeous garment that I'm wearing, which is also a West knit. So this, in fact, this garment that I am wearing is the first design I ever knitted of Stephen West. Not this particular one, but in, I think it was around about 2014 or 2012, I think. I came across Stephen on Instagram, and I was completely, had my socks blown off. and I decided to knit this Marled magic sweater, which was just a magnificent modular knit, different pieces, different stitches. The first time I ever tried brioche, it's got 2 brioche sections in it, and I'm sure I made quite a few mistakes, but it didn't stop me. And I showed it to a friend, and she bought it. So that was that one gone. I mean, I do sell my knitwear. This is what I do. I couldn't keep everything that I make. I would have way too many garments, too much accessories, and nowhere to keep them. So, you know, it wasn't a surprise, but it was out of my hands very fast. And then I got an order, a commission to make one in white, which was quite an interesting exercise, and I paired it with red. Now, I can't show you a picture of that now, but I do have a gorgeous picture of me trying it on, and I did fall in love with it, but I had to give it away. I then got over the Marled magic sweater, and I continued making shawls by Westknit and hats and socks and everything, more sweaters, cardigans, everything. And then a couple of weeks back, or maybe it was a bit longer, about a month or so ago, I saw on Instagram a picture of Stephen and Barbara from Iceland modeling their Marled magic sweaters. And I thought, no, I now have to have my own. So I went into my stash, and out of all my leftovers, I managed to find enough yarn to make this magnificent garment. Let me stand up and see. Oh, I'm completely tied up in my yarn, and show it to you. So it's this majestic, massive, gorgeous, it feels like a cloak. It feels so beautiful. It's got these gorgeous long cuffs, and it's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's shorter in the front. It's got an I-cord edge. It's longer in the back. It's sort of like a mini tunic dress. If I come a bit closer, here is, that was a mesh section. No, that wasn't a mesh section. This was the first brioche section. This was actually the first section. So you knit it in a piece, and then you add on, this was the second section, and you're marling, and this is seed stitch. This is garter stitch, and I used a boucle yarn for texture. This is just like a ridged, garter and stocking stitch ridges, and the pieces just go on and on and on. There's a lovely big mesh section, and that's the back. Here's another brioche section. So it gives you a chance to really experiment with a whole lot of designs, and then you get this gorgeous thing that just looks like $1 million when you wear it. And I love it. It's so comfortable. I really do not like garments that cling to me. So this is like the absolute opposite of clinging. It's like a curtain. And I really do love it. And it's really my style. Something big, oversized. I made long cuffs, and I've made I-cord edges everywhere. Even around the neck, it didn't call for an I-cord edge. I did a little bit of rib, and then the I-cord, and then of course the bottom has this very, very, very long I-cord. And if I'm not mistaken, this is also the first I-cord that I ever tried. And I-cord bind off, actually. And at the time that I was making it, it felt like it just went on forever. It was the first time that I'd got to the end of a garment, and you think, okay, I'm finished, now I just cast off and it's done. And I was doing this bind off, and I was going on, and it was taking hours and hours and hours. Anyway, it was the end of the garment, so I carried on doing it. And now, when I did it now, after many years of doing I-cord bind-offs, It didn't take long at all. It didn't seem like the mission that it was in the beginning. I'm just going to have a sip of my drink here. I'm drinking a water kefir made with granadilla, which is very delicious. Cheers. It's lovely. So, yes, that was the beginning of my Stephen West journey. And I think I'm going to just live in this totally this winter. I'm not sure if I'll be able to take this to India with me and probably take up half my suitcase. But I'm going to wear it as much as I can now. So let me show you. Now my needles are free. You might be able to get a bit of a view. This is the Winter Light shawl. And it's very early days. It's got this garter slip stitch, if you can see. Now I'm going to make some bubbles. And it's a semicircular I-cord tab beginning with garter. And it's going to be mostly in greens. I just want to show you, I don't know if anybody's knitted with these incredible needles. And I've just discovered this Tulip brand. I'm going to bring it too close. It's a very lightweight wooden needle with a fantastic point, and it's like so smooth. It's not bamboo. It's really, really smooth and lightweight with a fantastic cable. And I recently found myself going towards wooden needles again. You know, I got very much into my few chiagus that I owned, but I have subsequently found that actually I really enjoy knitting with wooden needles. It's, you know, I have also done a bit of knitting with the silk yarn, and that of course is much better on wooden needles, otherwise it's very, very slippery. But besides that, they're just so lightweight and they feel so lovely in your hands. So I'm really enjoying working with these tulip needles. I believe they come from Japan. I bought them at a yarn festival a couple of months back, and I only bought one size, and they are detachable, so, and it's got a long cable, which is very nice. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. Something else that just seems to be happened to be lying here, which you may have seen. I wear this a lot as well. This is a gorgeous, I just self-drafted, as everybody likes to say. It's just a design that I made the sweater out of 3 strands of mohair, put some bubbles on the sleeves, and it was to use up all my mohair. So I love mohair. I love adding mohair to my work. I love holding it together with either lace weight or fingering weight. So I had a lot of mohair left over. So a few years back I made this when I was taking care of a friend of mine who had had a hip operation. So I had to go and stay with her for quite a few weeks. And this is what I did in between my caring. And I did actually use the border, which was from a pattern I found on Instagram, which I think was called a coral sweater. So it's not a rib, it's sort of like a shell scallop border, which is very, very nice. It doesn't pull in, it's a bit more, it goes out, and it's light as a feather, and I love to wear that as well. But I'm giving it a break for now because I've got my Marled Magic sweater. So that is pretty much the knitting at the moment. You may also have seen in the beginning my absolutely beautiful anthology throw that's sitting over the couch, folded in half. It is absolutely massive and I really love it. It's really gorgeous. Also made with scraps. So, and I'm going to show you something else that I'm doing that's made with scraps. So obviously I must have a fair size stash to have all the scraps. I don't have a lot of new skeins of yarn actually. I mostly have scraps, but I put them to very good use. So I'm not a natural crocheter, if there is such a thing, but I'm a knitter and I can crochet, and I decided to because I love chevrons, so I decided to crochet myself a blanket for the winter, or for whenever it gets finished. I don't know if it'll get finished in the winter. So this is it. It's chevron crochet. It's so easy and so lovely, and it's just a series of long panels. So there are going to be 6 of these panels, and this is the first one, all extremely random colors. So that's the first one that's done, and here's the second one. How different is that? Completely different, but every single piece is going to be, oh, I love those purples, is going to be unique, and or I'm going to join them together in some fashion, probably crochet them together, and have a lovely, very lightweight blanket. It's also made out of fingering. I have used little bits of mohair here and there, and actually I have not crocheted on this for a while, and just showing it to you just makes me feel like I just want to go and carry on crocheting it. But I won't be doing that right now. So what else can I share with you today about what's happening in my life? Well, I am in the process of planning all my tours for the end of the year in India, and also planning to go and sit and do an internship. Probably along the lines of weaving, but I'm sure there will be some knitting and maybe some spinning involved as well. I was thinking of going to Morocco to do that, but I will be in India, and you know, these days traveling is just like, you know, going here backwards and forwards. I'm not really into that. Anyway, I will have to be back in India in February, because February is the time of many wonderful things that happen. And the one thing that I will not miss, if at all possible, is the Sacred Spirit Music Festival in Jodhpur in February every year, which is held in the fort. The most incredible, soulful music from around the planet. It's not only Indian music, it's really lovely. Beautiful 3-day festival. Sometimes it's on my birthday, which is really great. So I want to take that in. And then the very big thing that's happening next year is the Maha Kumbha Mela. Now, I don't know if you've ever heard of a Kumbha Mela, or if you have any idea of what it is, but it is the 12-year gathering. I don't know what you call that, 12 annual. Every 12 years, there's this massive gathering of sadhus, who are sages, Hindu sages, or Hindu saints, who come out of the mountains and come together for this massive gathering. Hundreds of thousands of people come. It's held over 6 weeks, and it's held at the confluence of 3 very, very sacred, important rivers, the Ganges, the Saraswati, and the Yamuna. And it is held at a point called Prayag Raj. Now, Prayag means confluence, and Raj means king. So it's the king confluence, the confluence of the 3 most important rivers in India. It's absolutely incredible experience, and I am taking a few people along to experience this tour. I myself am a sadhu, initiated sadhu. I don't really speak very much about it because there's not really a lot to say. It's actually something to experience. So I will be meeting with my whole sadhu family, and we are going to have a very beautiful time together. Some people I haven't seen since my initiation, which was the last Mahakumbh in 2013. And we will also go to Varanasi and spend some time there. So I still have some spaces open for that very magical, mystical, one-off experience that you should read up a bit about it. I'm going to write it down in the show notes, the Maha Kumbha Mela, and perhaps you can go and look it up. And if you're interested to come along, let me know. We will be in Varanasi, which is the holy city of Shiva, for the Shivaratri festival, which is at the end of February. So there'll be a lot of opportunities. I'm going to be there for the whole time, but people will come and go. I would suggest, 10 days if you're interested. So that's very exciting for me. It's next year, but that's going to come in 5 minutes. And yeah, the other thing that I'm going to be doing next year is offering a craft tour in India, where people will be able to come and experience different crafts, much like a craft retreat. It will probably be natural dyeing, spinning of yarn, weaving, possibly also knitting, in the most amazing environment in Rajasthan. So if you're interested in my India tours, please just drop me, a DM, or I'll send you I'll put my email down as well, and I can send you information of the upcoming tours. I take very small tours. I have lived in India for 12 years, so I'm pretty, in touch with everything. I also speak Hindi, which is very helpful for foreigners, and I can show you some very magical places besides the Kumbha Mela, like the mountains where we go, absolutely exquisite, pristine nature, and beautiful people, and lots of craft. So I think I'll leave it at that today. I'm watching my fire here. I have to go and stoke it up. And yeah, I'd love to invite you to keep in touch, keep watching. I do have a Patreon as well, although I'm really bad with my Patreon. I don't really do too much there. It's best that you follow me on Instagram. I have 2 Instagram accounts, one for my crafts, one for my India tours. I'll put that all in the show notes. And then, of course, there's my YouTube channel, which, yeah, I'm doing the YouTube channel. I'm enjoying it, although I seem to enjoy it much more when I do it in India. And people do seem to love me doing it from India, even though it's extremely noisy sometimes. You do get a taste of life in India. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much if you've watched today. I hope you've enjoyed everything that I've had to show you, and very cozy in my gorgeous Marled magic sweater. I suggest you make one. Really, you will not want to take it off. It's a gorgeous garment. And yeah, everybody mostly, I guess, is going into summer or is in summer. This is a winter garment, so put it down on your list, add it to your library, and knit it in winter. We are just heading into our winter now, so we've got lots of opportunity to wear all our gorgeous knits and to do a lot of knitting and crafting, which makes me extremely happy. So thank you for coming along, and happy crafting, and take care.